I'm going to do my first voiceover today. This is from the event at Archer on Cash. This was his second novice and third show ever. So we're going to start with the dressage. As you can see right now, we're coming down center line. He had a little bobble there, which was because I grabbed the inside rein a little too much. Now we're coming down the outside. He's trotting pretty nicely. He's a little behind the vertical, which I've struggled with because I don't know. I just like it when they're super connected to me, I guess is the correct way to say it. And I like a strong connection. And he didn't like that. And I needed to figure out a way to ride him differently in order to change my ride for him. Here he is. I think this is where we pick up the canner, maybe. I can't remember. Maybe not. Maybe we trot across the diagonal. Yeah. So this is him trotting across the diagonal. As you can see, he's just a little stuck in that carriage. He seems pretty relaxed and moving nicely, but I needed to just soften my hand and push him into the contact, from what I can kind of see in this video. Another thing I could do with him is I should have worked more on picking my hand up and just, like I said earlier, this seems to be a constant theme, pushing him forward and into the connection. You can see he's still pretty green in this. I got him in March and this event was in June, so he's pretty green. And you can see him just have a couple little baby moments where his butt swings in or his shoulder swings in. Right there for that downward transition, I didn't like the way it was so abrupt. I would have liked to see it more soft and fluid instead of just like slam on the brakes. The free walk, like I said, he's pretty green, so I would really like to see him stretch more through his back and keep that same connection all the way down across the diagonal. Now I'm starting to pick the reins back up to get him back into a collected walk, and I believe he trot at C, maybe. Yeah. So there he kind of popped above the connection. I would have liked to see me push him more forward into the connection, so that he truly had like a good connection to go into the trot and doesn't bobble through his head in there. Oh my goodness, that was a really awkward transition. It looked like I didn't really ask him and prepare him enough for that, so that's something I probably should have worked on. Other than that, this canter circle looks fairly nice for where he was in his training. Back to the downward transitions, that's one of the better downward transitions I've seen out of the class. He was going forward into the connection and then continued into a really nice trot. And here we're trotting across the diagonal. That looked fairly nice. There's not a lot you can see from behind, and right here you can see he's really tense in his neck, and I'd like to see him, like I've said over and over again, just go relax his neck and go more forward into the connection. That would make this, I think this was like a 35 maybe, I can't remember, but that could have made this test a low 30s, high 20s test, I believe. As you can see here, his canter work is definitely his nicest at the moment in this video. I really like the way he's just soft and connected the whole time, and he's willing to reach into the bridle versus being stuck and behind the vertical like he was in the trot. And now we're coming down center line for the halt salute. Whoa, we had a very nice drift there. I would have liked to see him just halt and stay in the same straight line instead of drifting to I guess that would technically be the right. But yeah, overall it wasn't too bad of a test. Okay, so now on to the cross country. This round was actually a really good round. Cash finished double clear, and he was actually the first horse on course that day. As you can see here, we're coming out to the first fence, and he looked just a little behind my leg there, and I would have liked to push him more forward to that first fence, but it was the first fence, and we're going to start to try to figure out a rhythm after that. This one, you can see he chipped just a hair, which is probably because he was still behind my leg. Now he's just settling into a nice canter. As you can see, he's got a really big stride. He's only about 16.1 or 16.2, so he's not a big horse, but he has a huge stride for being that small. And you can see there, he kind of took a little look at it. It was a chip because he did look at it, and then now he's just coming down this hill. Since he's just coming down this hill and there's not really much to be prepared for at the bottom, I just kind of let him pick a pace and roll down the hill at a pace he wanted to. This next jump here is a mushroom jump, which I think he took out of a really nice stride. I would have liked to not have picked so much and slowed him down so much, but it is what it is. And then this next one, the open oxer, honestly, that was like the perfect distance for him. He came up to it and just rocked back and got light on his front feet and went and jumped it. My philosophy with jumps distance-wise is if you have the right canter, the right balance, and the right rhythm, the jump will come to you and you don't need to pick a distance. It'll just kind of appear for you. So now we're coming into, I think, the first of two combinations on course. It's a little corner, which that was actually Cash's first corner. And as you could see, I got a little behind to that first corner, so I put my leg on, and the out rode really well over that cabin. This one rode really nicely as well. And now this hill, actually, the video doesn't do it justice at all. It's ginormous. It's a really big hill, and it's actually quite a push. So I just kind of softened my hand and let Cash kind of carry himself up at a pace he wanted to. And now we're coming down to the ditch coffin combination. He jumped that ditch really well and went right up the hill over that out. I like going uphill over stuff like that, because when you're going uphill, it kind of sets your horse up in the correct balance, and you can kind of just push up the hill because they're already balanced, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to stop the video after this blue table, just because it's basically the same the rest of the way around, but he rode that table really well as well. Okay, so now on to stadium. This was actually the final phase. And as you can see, he comes out and he's just kind of game. He was a super cool little horse. He loved his job and he loved to go work. As you can see, he comes around this turn and he just wants to go take me to that fence, which I really loved about him. You can see he's still green, where he's not great at turning, and he's a little wiggly in between fences, but he really wants to just go do his job correctly and try hard for you. So coming around this turn, I really liked that balance he had, and he did rub that fence, but it was a really nice ride to the fence, and the out was better. Oh, and we're motorcycling around a turn. Like I said, he does not turn very well at this point. But he comes down to this line and just wants to take me to it. I probably should have half-halted him a little more so he wasn't that forward through it, but overall it was a really nice ride through that line. I don't like the way I kind of pushed him at that oxer a ton. I would have liked to keep the rhythm the same and not been so like speed up, slow down, but I liked the way he jumped that blue vertical, and overall it was his first clear round.